Well, who is it?
I think you know, Colonel. It was you who framed Mr. Green because you thought he knew something about Edmund MacDonald that would put you in great danger. It was you who recently received a letter from your long-estranged uncle, inviting you to his mansion to discuss a matter of great importance. No doubt your father has told you how he and his brother, the late Lord Arthur, quarrelled over the large inheritance. Consequently, they never spoke to each other again. Long after your father's death, Lord Arthur, for some unknown reason, decided to make you, his nephew, sole successor. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the heir to all the lands and estates belonging to Lord Arthur Chessington, Edmund MacDonald, for that was your name before you joined the army, was it not, Colonel? After inviting you to stay with him, his lordship made it quite clear that you were to possess all his property after the time of his death. But on the morning in which he was to show you the will, you made the very foolish mistake of hurrying his lordship's hour by shooting him to death, thinking that no one knew you had been on the estate at the time. You then searched the room, and not finding the will, you immediately left in a yellow automobile. It was not for personal curiosity that you came, but to look for the will. That was exactly what you were doing the other day in the study, wasn't it? And then you thought you had a tremendous stroke of luck when you were asked to investigate. But what you did not know is that the police did know you had committed the murder. As you all have probably guessed, I have been working for the police this long while. You see now, Colonel, the impossibility of your case from the beginning. Even if you had found the will, it would have done you no good. On the contrary, it would have confirmed your guilt. Pray, tell, what would you have done had you found the will during your stay with us? But you never did, for the very simple reason that I have it with me here. Believe me, your name is written on it in very bold type.
I knew it.
You did, didn't you? And in all these base actions, you were aided by Miss White, who you paid to give you information she found on the will. That explains your interest as to the point of her interrogation. But you paid her enough to keep her mouth shut. Lord Arthur's own maid, who is presently behind that doorway with a loaded revolver.
Yes, I admit it. I framed Mr. Green here. And yes, I was on the estate at the time of the murder. And yes, I did fire a weapon. 4 times. But it was not a revolver, it was a hunting piece, and I was not in the study. I was out on the grounds, hunting partridge. Mr. Body was not killed with bullets. He was poisoned by you. You invented the being shot 4 times in the back as a cover story. You see, recently I was invited by my uncle to discuss a matter concerning his estates. So he said. On arriving, I soon found that he meant to make me his sole heir, but you weren't about to let that happen, were you, Professor? Oh no. You felt sure that your Lord Chessington had no living relatives. And when you heard about me, his only living nephew, you were prepared to kill before you let him sign a penny over to anyone but yourself. So, you killed him. Before, so you thought, he made a will. And now tell me, with me gone, who will get the will? It will either be confiscated, or it will go to you, perfecting our plan.
You cannot prove this.
No. But at least I could have the satisfaction of making sure that you are never the sole successor.
Stop it! I did it! I am his ex!
His ex?
Who's next?
Colonel, Mrs. Peacock, Professor Plum, and Miss White, you are all under arrest in the name of the law for the attempted murder of Lord Arthur Chessington.
Attempted?
Bring him in. now, your lordship. The reason for your hasty removal, your life depended on it. You see, these people would have had your life had we not abducted you at the right moment.
Well, why did you have to do it so violently?
Again, I apologize for the inconvenience. As you see, it was necessary.
But you see, these people are my friends. That's the maid, Miss White, and that is my friend, the professor, and that's my nephew, and there's Miss Peacock. You see, these people are my friends.
Lord Chessington, rich men must choose their friends wisely.
Why, Mr. Green, whatever are you doing here? Remember you were visiting before these men kidnapped me? No.
Allow me to explain. You all tried to kill Lord Chessington, and Miss White helped you all to do it, and was paid well for it. First, Professor Plum paid her to put arsenic in his lordship's tea. Then, Colonel Mustard shot him. And last of all, Mrs. Peacock broke in and cracked his skull with a heavy cane. From the start, we the secret police had known of all of your plots to kill Lord Arthur, from his lordship's cook, Walter Bolingbroke, who all this time had been acting as a double agent for the Scotland Yard. Upon the night preceding the morning on which each of you were to execute your plans, we sent Mr. Green here. Now, Mr. Green was one of our employers, and not a private detective, as you all thought. We sent him here to warn his lordship of his danger, and move him to safety if Mr. Green thought necessary. Mr. Green was to inform his lordship of his danger at the last possible minute, so that none of the murderers would suspect anything. He and Mr. Green were to leave the house at the exact moment that each of you planned to strike, giving us proof of your guilt. Miss White would have already put the poison in his lordship's tea. Colonel Mustard would have entered the study with the revolver in his pocket, and Mrs. Peacock would have broken in the front door, brandishing a walking stick. Unfortunately, Mr. Green slept in that morning, giving us no other choice than to have the two agents who were watching the house chloroform and abduct his lordship without any explanation. And because of his having started this mess, Mr. Green was sent to finish it, and we allowed him to handle the case. But I shall take the extreme liberty of saying, for one who knew so much about the case, he's done an inexcusably bad job. Mr. Green, your reports made it seem as if you knew nothing about the case at all until last week. Shameful. Now you see, this case has been a trap for all of you. I bet you thought yourself pretty clever, Professor, being paid by us to work as an agent to catch Colonel Mustard. You did not know that you were only setting a trap for yourself. You have all given Scotland Yard proof of your guilt.
If his lordship isn't dead, then who did we kill?
That remains to be seen. We do know that you did kill someone. Our agent, the cook, saw Miss White throw a sheet over the body before she hid it in that closet there. You killed someone who was in the house at 7:47 a.m. Someone who took the liberty of entering his lordship's study, sitting in his lordship's desk chair, taking a sip of his lordship's tea. Someone who was poisoned, shot, and then beaten to death. You all killed the wrong person. For all we know, this person may have been an innocent visitor, made victim of the results of a mad frenzy of greed and revenge. Open that closet.
Could happen.